told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navient's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Okay, it is Dom time. Welcome in. Great stuff today. Eric Trump stopping by at 2:30. Mr. Watley, the head of the RNC, he's here at 12:30, and we're going to talk with the superintendent of schools over in Upper Darby about putting in that $1.1 million AI-driven detection system, not a metal detector, that's going to be quite an inconvenience among other things. That'll be happening at 1 o'clock. You don't want to miss that one. I'm really glad that he's coming on. All right, one quick thing on the importance of this indictment of the mayor of New York. Here's what the tell is on that, and it will be interesting to see what Adams does. This is classic. I don't doubt that there's a huge amount of corruption around this guy and any of these blue cities up and down the line. You know that. But same thing with Menendez. Isn't it curious that the hammer comes down on them when they go rogue, when they mildly differ? Menendez on some foreign policy things, Adams complaining to the country about being overrun with migrants. And when that happened, when Adams went down that path, well, then what we saw was that pretty shortly thereafter, Adams is under the gun. This is back to the migrants flooding into New York. He talked about it. It was overwhelming, didn't want it, not enough resources. And oh, look at this. Suddenly the federal government sees corruption. This happens every time in these cases. That's the way that it works. Everything's okay until you have an opinion that doesn't fit at some powerhouse in the federal government. Then watch out. Okay. Josh Shapiro just did a podcast today that I don't have the sound of, but I'm reading the commentary in the Philadelphia Inquirer. And once again, the media, Shapiro is one of the worst at this, going after Trump. Now, if he wants to go after Trump because of Springfield, Ohio, and the statement about the pets, okay, that's one area. He's going after Trump because of what Trump said about Charleroi, Pennsylvania. And we feel pretty sensitive to this because we got on the councilman and mayor not once, but twice. So Shapiro says this is the tactic of Trump. He attacks America. Remember this? Remember this whole thing? Shapiro's the one that's patriotic. Trump attacks America. He attacks this town in Pennsylvania, which he didn't do. The issue is here, do you think Abington, where Josh Shapiro mainly was headquartered over the years, do you think Abington suddenly would have 2,000 people up there near the Willow Grove Mall? One day and the next day, 2,000 people from Haiti or somewhere else are coming into town. Do you think, Josh, they might say something to? He says, well, the town manager, yeah, of course, they're in the cover-up mode. We've had the mayor on, we've had the council person on, and they both talk about how difficult things are. They're not saying stuff about pets. They're talking about reckless driving. What would happen Now, nobody in the media ever asked this guy stuff like that. They allow him to run amok, claiming that what Trump said about this town is the same thing he said about Springfield. No, the issue is this. Americans are under siege in various places, and you never know where it will be next. Now, I would like to see Trump and Vance very buttoned up on this, extremely specific, data-driven, buttoned up. That's the way to defeat this. But in broad strokes, the bottom line is these towns are hurting, and you have people here that maybe don't assimilate that well. The language is a barrier. The services are under fire. Those things are all true. But we're going to fight this battle because of the unfortunate comments about the pets. All right. Here is something else that Trump said in a rally, Henry. This is cut 14. It made a lot of sense to me yesterday. Now, Biden was on with Ladies on the View, and they're doing stuff comparing Trump to an insect and then killing the insect on the table there. Now, that's not assassination-driven and all that, but maybe unwise. Listen to what Trump said at the rally. If he were president, and we're going to talk to Michael Watley inside about this and Eric Trump. Trump was told yesterday, we talked about this, there are multiple Iranian assassination squads. Not Trump making it up, but Secret Service and intelligence that are trying to hit him. What would Trump say if he were president? You know what he would say. What any president should say, what I would say. You dare. We're coming after you, every single one of you. And the price that you'll pay in Iran this time will not be worth it. We're going to target every one of you. We're going to kill every one of you. I'm not even saying if they're successful. If there's the hint of this, that's what they have to know. You are going to get it. Instead, Joe Biden and others are egging this on, saying, well, this is what Trump deserves because of his rhetoric. So here's what Trump said at the rally.
If I were president and a former president and a leading candidate, I'm the leading candidate by far to be the next president. And that leading candidate was under threat. If I was president and the candidate was under threat, any candidate, Republican or Democrat, and by the way, I want to thank the Democrats because they just increased funding for the Secret Service, who work very hard. They increased funding for the Secret Service, and nobody will believe this. It was a unanimous vote. Republicans, every single Republican, every single Democrat present voted in favor. That was the first unanimous vote we've seen in a long time, and that's to increase the funding of the Secret Service. So I thank everybody in Congress. But if I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that. And there would be no more threats. There would be no more threats. But right now, we don't have that leadership or the necessary people, the necessary leaders. We have two people, not one. We don't even know who our president is right now.
All right, we're wandering off. Okay, but what should the president do, the sitting president? We know this happened yesterday. I'm not sure if Trump was in on the meeting. New York Times reporting, well, you know, some of it is they're trying to get him to curtail playing golf. This comes back to the Secret Service. Do your job. Obama played a good bit of golf, and he should as president. We're a country that says you are not even going to think about targeting a president. But we can't do that because we don't have a president now who put that directive out. We don't have an effective Secret Service, FBI, and the like. We have testimony going on today on the Butler shooting and in the House this time, and it's as bad as it can get. So he's right on that. That's what President Biden ought to say. This is a message. You're going to pay for this. Just the idea of hunting down a candidate for president or a president, that doesn't, you know who you're fooling around with here. And we're going to prove it to you again. Now, these people, as religiously fanatical as they are, we've seen it time after time. They don't want to be killed, though. They want their adherents to go to the 72 virgins and variations of that. They don't want to go to that. That's exactly what an American president and what the media ought to be talking about. Now, the other big story is the Harris interview with Stephanie Ruhle. I thought Stephanie Ruhle asked some pretty good economic questions. No follow-up on this. And she gave Harris a pass on not knowing too much, but we were introduced, this is cut 18, we were introduced to a new word here that Vice President Harris has fallen in love with, other than Venn diagrams. Listen to, I believe it's mentioned, I think this cut is roughly 15 to 20 seconds, and there's at least 3 mentions.
And assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars. And looking holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing.
Tail of the tape, that was under 20 seconds, or right around 20 seconds. The word of the day, the secret code word is holistic or holistically. Oh, my.
She definitely has like a word of the day calendar, because I feel like every once in a while she just has an interview where she repeats a word. It's
a tick. It's another version of the word salad. It's the word of the day syndrome. Let's just say holistically to everything. Holistically, how you doing today? I'm middle class. All right, 855-839-1210. One more, then we'll give you the side question of the day and start to take your calls. This is cut 17. Stephanie Ruhle wanted to know, and by the way, thanks to Henry again, thanks to Bill Hamilton from the Teamsters coming on yesterday. It was a flurry. If you missed it, it's up on podcast. We actually had the guy that's the president for 96,000 Teamsters in Pennsylvania come on. He challenged a bit that they actually voted for Trump, even though the evidence is there. It was 65. It was even worse than the national evidence. But listen to this question about the Teamsters. Stephanie Ruhle just wanting to know, well, wait a minute. The Teamsters are the ultimate labor union. Not only wouldn't they endorse you, but all the numbers went for Trump. Listen to this exchange.
But not all unions have gotten behind you. I want to understand, when the Teamsters decided not to endorse you, what was their reasoning? What are they looking for? Well, let me go back to our just previous conversation. I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the steelworkers and almost every other major union in America, because I stand by workers and I stand by the importance of being able to join a union and to understand the benefit and the value of unions. And I understand the importance of investing in new industries and working actively with the private sector to grow our economy.
But I'm asking because there's this idea we want something more from her. What is it?
Well, here's the thing, that back to your point about previous election cycles, Donald Trump made a whole lot of promises that he did not meet, and one would argue broke.
All right. Does that mean these guys are dopes? They don't remember that? So Trump told them anything. They're dopes. They're dopes, Stephanie. Bill Hamilton and boys, you guys are dopes over there. That's what the VP is saying here, I believe. Trump made all these promises, didn't keep them. And what did you do? You still went out there with Trump. That must be the reason. It couldn't be that you differ with her on any number of things. All right, let me give you the side question. Today is the birthday of Scottie Pippen, who was arguably, in sports terminology, the all-time number 2, the all-time Robin to Batman of Michael Jordan. So we'd like to dust off, give us that all-time number 2. When you have a duo and it's clear that one member, real or fictional, one member of the duo is more the assistant, the number 2, not the lead character, even if they're a pretty big character. So I'll take off the board Lone Ranger and Tonto, of course. Let's see, Buzz Lightyear, who mushroomed into something pretty big. You know how much I like Toy Story, 3, 4, 5, or 10, whatever it's up to. And, of course, Andy and Barney Fife is a classic. Dan, how about yours?
Dan's not in here yet.
Oh, I couldn't see you. I'm sorry, Henry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll give you I'll give you a little twofer here.
Yeah.
Hold on. There we go. All right, I'll give you a twofer here. I will go with Kevin Dillon, who is the younger brother of Matt Dillon, who you could argue Matt Dillon is the more famous actor.
Yes.
And in Kevin Dillon's most famous role as Johnny Drama in Entourage, he is the younger and less successful brother of Vincent Chase.
Yes, exactly.
So he
That's
is the
a
number
great
2
one.
both in
Yes.
real life and in the
Yes,
show.
That's a good one. All right, so put those all aside. Come up with your own. Phone lines are 855-839-1210. So at 12:30, we'll talk with Michael Watley, co-chair of the RNC, about this meeting, talking about assassination teams. And also Harris yesterday, what she put out, allegedly, on the economy. Eric Trump here, and the superintendent of schools in Upper Darby, talking about putting in this detection system for $1.1 million. A lot to unpack there. Get in at 855-839-1210.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. It's September already. Can you believe it? Kids are back in school. We're going to blink, and the holidays are going to be here. And you're going to be seeing family and friends and being in a lot of pictures. So if you're feeling self-conscious about your smile, now is the time to schedule your appointment with Dr. Mike Veneria. As you know, my entire family goes to Dr. Mike. His level of care and commitment to dental excellence is unmatched. So get that dental procedure done today, and you'll be one step closer to having that beautiful smile you deserve. Taking care of your teeth is so important to your overall health, and Dr. Mike and his staff makes it so easy to have that beautiful, healthy smile. He's been named a top dentist in New Jersey for 10 consecutive years. He's my dentist. He's respected among his peers as being a master of dental implants. So reach out to Dr. Mike today. With 2 locations to serve you in Cinnaminson or Woodbury, schedule your appointment or free implant consultation today for your perfect smile. Call 856-786-2020, 856-786-2020, or visit veneriadental.com, VANARIA, veneriadental.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Due at inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
The new era Phillies team store never goes out of style. Shop our expansive collection of hats, jerseys, and other Phil's apparel today. Shipping is also available. Visit phillies.com/new era for store hours. All season long, you've shown the world why you're the best fans in baseball. Thanks for bringing the energy, but the fun has only just begun. Keep up to date with all things Red October throughout the postseason on Phillies.com.
Seems everyone has an opinion on where the stock market is going, but where should you be going? Find out with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
40 days to lose up to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5-NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds, 40 days up to 40 pounds, NJ Diet.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. Sticking to the fundamentals and not wavering from the game plan is a great philosophy for football and banking. And for nearly 160 years, our dedicated local PNC teams are in formation to help fans receive sound and reliable personalized financial advice to get them across the goal line. Because, as we see it, a win for them is a win for the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Gerhardt's Appliances has what you need to be tailgate ready this season for the Birds and the Fightin's Pennant Drive. Whether it's the in-home appliances needed to prepare your famous Kelly green pepper casserole before pregame, or the barbecue grills you'll need to fire up the last of your sausage links in the parking lot before kickoff or first pitch, Gerhardt's has you covered with the best game day deals on appliances, helping Philly sports fans get the season cooking since 1945. Visit Gerhardt'sAppliance.com. Hey, Mount Laurel. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
All right, right, it is Dom time. Good Thursday, 855-839-1210. So Bob Casey Jr., noted military expert, heck of a cut, talking about the hero Zelensky coming to Scranton, all those munitions guys, how great they feel about it. Yeah, I bet they feel good about it, the people behind this, all the money they're pulling in as we send billions more, and Biden saying, get ready, we're going to send a whole lot more as long as he's president. Here's what Senator Casey said about that visit to Scranton, which probably was illegal at taxpayer expense, attacking Trump and Vance. Here's what Casey said.
I wanted very much to come here and to thank you. 400 people saved millions of Ukrainians. Because of the result of your work, I'm very thankful, just from ordinary Ukrainians to you. And what can I say? Thank you so much. You helped us to survive against Putin invasion. And thanks to your families, and God bless, everything will be very good with your families and with you. God bless America, and Slava Ukraini. Thank you again very much for everything.
Senator, there you were with the governor right behind President Zelensky. What was that like for the workers to actually get that thanks directly for the work they're doing?
Well, Lawrence, those workers, union labor, bursting with pride because of the work that they do, but especially when you have a world hero like Mr. President Zelensky coming to Scranton, Pennsylvania. Happens to be my hometown. I still live there, along with President Biden's hometown when he was growing up.
Oh my God!
But to have him there to validate the labor that they provided to give those shells to the Ukrainian army to be able to fight off Russia, he literally said, "You're helping us survive," and I think they're going to help that army even more and help them win.
All right, so there is the disconnect, and Zelensky in Congress again today. How does this poll? I think it's pretty much a wash on both sides. It's hard to take from Democrats around this, but in the end, don't think it's going to be a major issue probably as we head to the wire in presidential debate. Here's Mark Cuban, though, who's all over the place. And look, this guy, it reminds me of Stern. It's the same kind of thing. Cuban thinks he should have run for president, even though he doesn't know anything. He's brilliant in his fields, how he made his money. But after that, there's no knowledge base here at all. So he's on CNBC, and he's talking about Trump again. Here's what he said.
And look, let me just add one more thing, because we'll go into Haiti and all that kind of stuff. When did the civil wars in Haiti start?
When did we go to Haiti?
We're talking about illegal immigration in Haiti and overwhelming communities.
But the Haitians were illegal immigrants, most of them who came in.
Well, they were brought over under the different programs, right?
Yeah.
The point I wanted to make, they like to talk about no wars, right? When did the Haiti civil war start?
Oh, my
God. In 2020, in May of 2020, during the Trump administration. What he could have done something to try to deal with that, and that would have preempted a lot of the problems that they're having now that he's talking about.
All right, think about this. We compare the record of how Biden handled things, think Afghanistan, etc. We take a look at Trump and his records. By one means or another, no major things happen on his watch. Think Ukraine and Russia, for example. So Mark Cuban jumps in here and says, oh, yeah? What about the civil war in Haiti? When have places like Haiti, Central America, for whatever reason, when have they not had coups and civil wars and all kinds of things like this? So Cuban's saying it's a lie. He had his problems too. He didn't do anything about it. That's why we have so many Haitians in America. No, we have so many Haitians coming to these communities because Biden, Harris have made a decision about this, that this is what they want to do. The numbers are staggering. And there's no sense of complying with any kind of laws or citizenship or anything else. Venezuela, the same thing. Notice again, do you see these people coming to Abington? Are they coming to Beverly Hills? Are they coming to Chestnut Hill? No, they're going to these communities and they're telling these communities, you need these people. Your town sucks, like Charleroi. You need them. So what are you complaining about? like Springfield, Ohio. They're revitalizing. And when the people say, what about all these other issues? They're told, shut up. You're a racist. You're in a town that's on its last legs. You should be very happy that we're sending you people that are going to revitalize this broken down town. That's what this debate is. Shapiro could be debated on this. What they'll resort to is what Trump blurted out about the pet. That's what they want to go back to. By the way, in the Stephanie Rule interview, Kamala Harris referenced Charlottesville again and wasn't called on it. But by and large, I don't think Stephanie Rule did a bad job. She asked the right questions. She interrupted one or two times. The main question here is, how is Harris going to pay for all this stuff? In other words, here's cut 9. I think this is the best thing here, probably, Henry, right? Yeah. How are you going to make sure these corporations pay taxes? If you overtax them, aren't they going to leave America? Cut 9.
And how do you find that line to make sure corporations are paying their fair share, but they're not leaving our country?
Well, listen, I work with a lot of CEOs. I have spent a lot of time with CEOs, and I'm going to tell you that the business leaders who are actually part of the engine of America's economy agree that people should pay their fair share. They also agree that when we look at a plan such as mine that is about investing in the middle class, investing in new industries, investing in bringing down costs, invest in entrepreneurs like small businesses, that the overall economy is stronger and everyone benefits. Part of my plan for the economy is investing in new industries in a way that we have active partnership with the private sector. I've worked with the private sector my entire career. Even as vice president, working with some of the biggest banks and biggest tech companies to increase by billions of dollars the money going into community banks to increase access to capital for small businesses. Why do those biggest corporations and CEOs do that? Because they know those kinds of investments, like in our small businesses, in startups and entrepreneurs, actually strengthens America's economy overall, and everyone benefits. So this is not about bilking anybody, but it is certainly about saying, let's make sure that we create opportunities for everyone to grow wealth. I believe.
Okay. Back to the question. How are you going to keep them in the United States when they feel you're overtaxing them? I'd love to hear the CEOs that want to be taxed more and what the shareholders would say to them. All right, Michael Whatley's coming up. And let's get into the side question here. Give us a great number 2. Let's go to Scott in Middletown, Delaware. Hey, Scott, good afternoon. What do you have today?
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me on. Give me one second. I think I'm on speaker here. Thanks for having me on. Hey, I think that Jackie Gleason as Ralph Cramden was the second, and Ed Norton was actually the first when you think about it.
That's a nice outside the box. I'll give you credit. I don't agree, though. I mean, the reason it's a Jackie Gleason show and the reason usually Gleason's things that he does wrong are the things that they're both reacting to. But, okay, we'll put you down for that. Norton's a good second, though. We'll put it in there, even though I differ with him on it. All right,
can I throw you mine real quick?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I just want to throw it out there. I listed it, and Henry kind of jumped on me about it. I said an all-time notable number 2, Paul McCartney.
Yes, that's true. Sadly.
Oh, you agree? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
The despicable John Lennon is number 1. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, he's just a despicable. The whole. Yeah, and Yoko Ono fits, of course. Let's not get off on that.
That's a good number
fits.
2. Yeah.
I don't know if
really
being with Lennon says more about you or being with Yoko Ono says all that you need to know.
Poop Patrol.
All right. So coming up, Michael Whatley, who is the co-chair of the RNC. When I ask him about these assassination teams and the Trump team being told what about it, also Kamala Harris specifically on the economy yesterday. And the Trump team has to do a little bit more on tariffs. They're allowing some tactical ground there for her to attack, even though I think there's an argument to be made about what Trump did and Biden kept the tariffs. All that straight ahead, 855-839-1210.
Want to grow your savings even when interest rates drop? Open a First Harvest Credit Union 7-month certificate online and earn 4% annual percentage yield. Visit firstharvestcu.com/online exclusives to learn more about this online-only offer and our other savings options with amazing rates like our 18 and 24-month certificates to lock in higher earnings. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for over 84 years. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Another summer has come and gone. The air is crisper, and of course, football is back. That means the holidays will be here soon. Time to get off the sidelines and huddle up with Cozy Jewelers and pick out the perfect piece for the one you love. There is nothing more thoughtful than a one-of-a-kind piece of jewelry made locally at Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square. Paul Cozy is the guy for all of your custom jewelry needs. Family owned and operated. Step up to the 5th C. That's color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy. CozyJewelers.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Is your kitchen or bathroom in need of a makeover?
It's time to transform your home into a personal oasis with Emmons Remodeling.
Our expert team specializes in kitchen and bathroom renovations, creating beautiful, functional spaces you and your family will love. We handle everything from design to installation.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Hey, it's Ike Reese. These days, everything in Philly costs more. But a single line at Verizon doesn't. Get one line for as low as $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So, while coffee is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. And dinner for two has gotten pricey. Verizon, less pricey. Logan Square rent, that's not coming down anytime soon. But Verizon, down. One line for just $50 a month. Limited edition sneakers, through the roof. One line from Verizon, through the floor. That designer golden doodle, so much more, but Verizon, a fair bit less. Even a good old tried and true hamburger will cost you more. But with Verizon, the same tried and true service is now just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome. With auto pay plus taxes and fees. Point is, in a world that is always costing more, you can get more for less right now at a Philly Verizon store.
$15 promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming and 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Weather is sponsored by Indeed.
A warm and humid air mass is in place heading into the weekend. Today, mostly cloudy with some showers around, especially north and west, high up around 80. Tonight, some showers possible, otherwise mostly cloudy and muggy, low near 70. And for Friday, the clouds continue with a few showers possible, high 78.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates, all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. You got the side question today. Joining us is the co-chair of the RNC, co-chair Michael Whatley, with us here on Talk Radio 1210. Michael Whatley, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us.
It's good to be on with you, sir. It's great to have another day in Pennsylvania. We're going to be in Harrisburg this afternoon and over in Montgomery County tonight. Just a continued reminder of how important Pennsylvania is for this election.
So is this volunteer training in Montgomery County tonight?
Tonight in Montgomery, we're going to be with the Montgomery County GOP for their Lincoln Reagan dinner.
Okay.
But, we're going to be doing the election integrity over in Harrisburg this afternoon.
Now, Michael Whatley, Chairman Whatley, this assassination team and President Trump made a great point about it yesterday. If he were president, we know exactly what he would say to Iran. We know these people don't want to die as much as they fake it. We know that Trump took them out. So these meetings, it's good to know about that, but what's your sense? Were they trying to tell Trump, don't play golf, don't do big outdoor events?
Well, look, I think that everybody understands how serious the nature of these threats are to the president right now. The fact is that when America is weak, we have actors like Iran and others who they just are going to continue to poke and push. And when America's weak, the world is a more dangerous place. So we need to get things right internally. And we certainly need to make sure that we're protecting President Trump. I think it's very significant that they are extending the same level of protection to him that they're giving Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But I think for any foreign actor that's going to come into the United States and act like Iran is acting right now, they need to get hit, and they need to get hit hard.
Yes, exactly right. And they recognize that. We all know it's an obvious thing. They didn't do this under Trump. They wouldn't do it under Trump. And it's not just the hit hard. It's you don't know what he's going to do. He's going to use any lever imaginable. He's going to be a bit unpredictable with these people rather than the predictability of what the Biden administration does. Yesterday, VP Harris, I thought Stephanie Ruhle asked the right questions, followed up a little bit here, not exactly pressing. What did we take specifically? We know about all the word outs and all. What did we take specifically that the campaign differs with the most? Is it the housing and how the havoc that would cause if we actually did what she said?
I think if there's one overall message that we take away from it, is she is completely unprepared and she is completely not ready for prime time. Her economic policies are basically twofold. Number one, she is going to continue to drive prices higher through inflationary spending. She's going to double down on every bit of inflationary spending that she has had over the course of the last 3.5, 4 years. Number two, she is going to raise your taxes. She said that she's going to give you the largest tax increase in the history of the country. And on top of that, she's going to push very hard for a capital gains tax, which means anybody who owns a home or has a stock portfolio is going to get drilled for a 25% tax increase on the value there. So, she's going to make sure that it costs more to live, and she's going to take more money from you in the short term. That's her economic plan. No wonder Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, Wall Street Journal are all panning her economic plan and saying that she has not put up a serious proposal that's going to help the American people.
Now, the one avenue of attack, and I know you're not an economist, but you're a strategist extraordinaire, that I would tighten up more on the Trump side is the tariff thing. I'm on board with it the way it was done before, and it's a great point that the Biden administration continued a lot of this, but that seems to be the thing that a lot of people have been taught, and myself included, probably you, that tariffs have gotten us into trouble. What can you say on the massaging the tariff thing so that people understand what the Trump agenda is?
Look what happened when President Trump put those tariffs in place during his first 4 years. The fact that our economy took off when he unleashed the American economy, he made it very clear that he was going to use any lever at his disposal to push manufacturing back to America. He wanted to onshore manufacturing instead of offshore it like we had for president after president after president before him. That is what's going to work. We need to make sure that every company, whether it's GE, John Deere, or anybody else, understands if you build your products in America, you're going to get a better deal from this country. We want those manufacturing jobs here in America. And look, if tariffs work right, you're not going to have them in place because those companies, rather than face the tariffs, are going to move those jobs to America.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would say that they seem to be trying to go after. They can't lay a glove on any of the other policies. What's next here in Pennsylvania? We know we have J.D. Vance right here in our backyard. We've been promoting this this Saturday. What are we going to see in the campaign, say, in the next week or so in Pennsylvania?
Well, I think the biggest announcement that we've made by far is that President Trump is going to come back to Butler on October 5th. And we're going to be right back at the same site where he was shot. I am just personally very, very excited about that. And look, Pennsylvania, we're going to have a lot of folks that are going to be in town. There's a reason that I'm there today. We've had Laura Trump up here recently. J.D. Vance is going to be spending a lot of time here, and the president is going to be spending a lot of time here because Pennsylvania is two things for us. Number one, it's a absolutely critical swing state. When we win Pennsylvania, we're going to win the whole thing. The 19 electoral votes that we get out of Pennsylvania are absolutely critical for our map. Kamala Harris has no path to the White House that doesn't go through Pennsylvania. We're going to win Pennsylvania, and we're going to take it. The second reason Pennsylvania really matters for us is because it is a true microcosm of the country. It is rural. It is urban. It is suburban. It is the minority populations. It is energy. It is manufacturing. It is agriculture. You know, when we talk about the issues that matter to American voters, you know, things like inflation, grocery prices, gasoline prices, housing prices, that matters in Pennsylvania. When we talk about energy production, it's Pennsylvania energy that Donald Trump is going to unleash and that Kamala Harris has declared war on. So every issue that we're talking about in this election bears right down in Pennsylvania. So that's why we feel so good about Donald Trump winning this state, because the issues he's talking about are the issues that the Pennsylvania voters care about.
Without a doubt. Now, to help with more volunteers and more information, where do they go, Chairman?
You know, TrumpForce47.com is our grassroots vehicle, and that's how we're going to get everybody up and out to make phone calls, knock on doors, get their neighbors out, get their communities out. And if you want to help on the largest election integrity program in the history of the country, go to protectthevote.com, sign up, and you can go work as a poll worker and a poll observer on Election Day. And we got to be in the room when the votes are cast and when the votes are going to count.
Exactly. Thanks, Chairman, very much. Thanks for coming on today.
Have a great weekend, sir. We really appreciate you and all of your listeners.
Chairman Michael Whatley here on Talk Radio 1210. All right, 855-839-1210. Look, I still think the tariffs need more work. I get it. And I get the point that Biden kept them into play. I just think that's the only talking point I hear from Harris that remotely is direct on this. 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. Coming up, the Souderton School Board. Oh, man, Thursday night, big meeting there because this guy, Bill Formica, said some unkind things about Kamala Harris and how she rose to the top. He's a school board member. They're going to be asking for IDs tonight. You got to say, the other side, the mob on the other side, when they get on something like this, it is relentless. I'll tell you what that's about. But get in on the side question, too. 855-839-1210 is where you get in. Hey, it's so important to make sure our families have the essentials: food, shelter, and, of course, pure, clean drinking water. A lot of news about drinking water these days. Just do what I did. Count on Martin Water Conditioning to secure your family's drinking water. The Connecticut system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of that tap is crystal clear, all-natural water. Not only the best tasting water ever, it provides peace of mind knowing that your family's water is pure and clean. The Martin Water Conditioning family is passionate about water. They'll put their 46 years of experience to work for you. Their customer service, attention to detail, just fantastic. They'll come out to your home, they'll test your water, recommend solutions that make sense for you. Contact Martin Water Conditioning right now. Our guy, Dwayne, was just amazing. but any of their guys, they are passionate about showing you what's in your water and how it's going to be gone. Click on martinwater.com or 800-887-7555. 800-887-7555.
High school football is back. High school football is back. And so is the Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Join Daryl Dobis, James Bailey, and Matt Dents. Friday nights 10 till midnight for a rundown of all the big high school games in the region and expert analysis. The Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Friday night at 10. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Chase wants everyone to be able to have a place of their own. That's why we offer mortgages that help you purchase your new home with down payments as low as 3%. To find out more about our low down payment options and other ways Chase can make your home buying dreams a reality, visit chase.com/homebuyer or your local Chase branch. Loan amount, loan value, and loan product type limits apply. Geographic restrictions may apply for jumbo loans. Products are subject to credit and property approval. Program terms are subject to change without notice. Other limitations and restrictions apply. Home lending products provided by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, equal housing opportunity.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water, and it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
Free speech lives here with Don Stensland, 10 till noon on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome in. Just saw a curious thing here that, sometimes it's a close call. If you're for Trump, are you making it up when you don't succeed? Tommy John, who's more famous because of the surgery than the fact he won 288 games. And that's back in the day when pitchers pretty much had to have 300 to get into the Hall of Fame or thereabouts. Just gave an interview with the Yankees broadcaster subsidiary saying, yeah, they know that I voted for Trump and I've been public about it because the Veterans Committee could put him into the Hall of Fame. All right, here's a little bit of what he said.
Which is amazing. And I've always said,
You're the first one to have this, this groundbreaking surgery. You also won 288 games. And maybe this is not a question for you, but for the people that vote on such things, why are you not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, you're such a big part of baseball history.
Maybe because I voted for Donald Trump.
You think that's it?
I probably. I don't know. I have no idea. If I knew and I could do something, I would do it. But I can't. And, it's Tommy John surgery.
All right. I think he'd be an interesting guy. I'd say this. Kurt's showing is not everybody's taste. Kurt's showing's obnoxious at times, has said a lot of wild stuff. But Kurt's showing belongs in the Hall of Fame. By modern baseball, and if you wanted to have a guy that you're going to hand the ball to, and I got a choice, there's only a few guys I would pick other than Kurt Schilling. And really, at the end of the day, isn't that what it's about? As long as you didn't murder anybody, allegedly like OJ or something like that, don't you belong in the Hall of Fame if you did it on the field? Why does it matter? Anything else that you did, again, unless it's convicted criminal behavior. And even then, it seems to me we have people that may be in the Hall of Fame. Henry, you had a thought there.
Okay, you said he had 288 wins, and he played 26 seasons. That's 11 wins a season. That's nothing special.
It's
and if we
getting the wins.
And if we want, if we want to go win total, Jamie Moyer has 269. Is he a Hall of Famer?
I think Tommy John, as I remember, was better than Jamie Moyer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they played around the same amount of seasons.
Right.
Around the same amount of wins. I don't think either of them deserve it, whether they vote for Trump or not.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to hear the reasons because these things are off. How about Kurt Schilling? Does he belong?
Kurt Schilling should, yeah. It's just because he's, it's the writers who vote on these things, and he wasn't the nicest to the writers throughout his career.
Well, I think it's political, too, and I think he's obnoxious.
It doesn't help, yeah.
I would agree, but there's a lot of players that are obnoxious that we seem to, or worse, that we overlook.
But then on the other foot, someone like Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame, and Harold Baines' numbers aren't anything special, but when you play for as long as he did,
there's a skill. There's a skill to longevity, too. Though.
There is. I
mean, if you do the right things and last, that counts for something with me. That's how you rack up numbers.
I mean, the numbers might be all right, but were you ever like the best of your era? Were you the best in your time? Can you say Harold Baines or Tommy John or Jamie Moore were the best at their position in their time? I don't think so.
Well, I would have fewer people in the Hall of Fame. That's true. But I think there's a lot of people, a good bit of people in there now that don't belong. So you start looking, all right, well, what is it with this guy that's that close? Okay. 855-839-1210, though, you'll get a line. At 1 o'clock, we're going to talk with the superintendent of schools in Upper Darby. Thrilled to have him because out of nowhere, they just put in this $1.1 million. They're putting in this artificial intelligence. I'll tell you what it is. That's going to delay getting into school by quite a bit of time. Apparently, they had somebody with a gun in school recently. So we'll get into that. Let me take one more. I think this is a pretty good one. Alan in Hamilton. Alan, good afternoon. What's yours?
To Martin Luther King's Ralph David Abernathy, who led the movement immediately after the assassination.
Yeah, that is a good one, and that's a perfect example. You know, if you're the second to Martin Luther King Jr., it takes quite a personality because you're not going to be upstaging him. There's not much up. I mean, it's an all-time type of thing. That's a good one. That's what we're looking for. All right, so Souderton tonight, entry Thursday tonight. The Inquirer doesn't like this. In the wake of board member Bill Formica saying stuff, they say in the paper, but I'm not going to say, about Kamala Harris, they want him out, and they're massing from all over the area. The middle school auditorium could hold 550 people. Thursdays will be at the usual location, which will 110-person capacity. So they're asking for ID that you have to be in the school district to attend. And I think that's appropriate because I'm sure the mobs are going to want to – they're not going to give up until this guy's out. okay, based on these remarks, which he's apologized for. And they say, well, this guy's got a history of this stuff. So this is the cause celeb. We'll see what gets said tonight. I don't think he's going anywhere, but I understand why they're asking for IDs. All right, we turn to Upper Darby next, where we've had the superintendent on before because there's been a lot of stuff back and forth in the news about Upper Darby. 4,400 students in the school. I think that's the largest in the state, got to be one of the largest in the country at this time. And they've had some weapons issues, so now $1.1 million in order to take a look at kids coming into school to make sure no weapons are coming in. There's downsides to this, including cost. We'll hear what he has to say about that and just education in general. Your calls at 855-839-1210.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, at Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
This year's election threatens to erode your retirement future.
Susan Sanoski, Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Depending on who wins the election, it's going to affect the economy as a whole. Costs are just skyrocketing. Medical costs, housing, food especially. And when was the last time you ever heard of a tax decrease? And I have to say, I have no fear at all because my money is safeguarded with crash-proof retirement. And with our crash-proof retirement system, our money is not just stable, but it's actually increasing much more than we had expected. That money is always added to our principal without anybody getting a cut of that. It's just ours. We earn it, it goes into our account, and it continues to grow and multiply. We have not had a single loss. I'm election-proof. My entire investment for retirement is protected.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Hill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
40 days to lose up to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5-NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds, 40 days up to 40 pounds, NJ Diet.
Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is known for being South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. Choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area or have their master jewelers create a one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
When was the last time you watched your home movies? Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Okay, it is Dom time, 855-839-1210. We've talked about this, even with all the presidential stuff going on. There are some local things that make you take a look. And we're happy that we're going to bring you the guy who proposed this and got it done at the school board meeting the other night over in Upper Darby, the superintendent of schools in Upper Darby. And what they got done is they approved a $1.1 million weapons detection system after finding AR-style magazine, says the Enquirer, at the high school, among other things. Officials anticipate it will take 40 to 60 minutes to process high school students through the system. Parents apparently were on the side of doing this after a loaded gun and AR-style magazine were found at the high school, which is a huge high school. All right? So, again, this generates a lot of attention. I don't know too many suburban school districts, maybe the superintendent does, that would do something like this or have done something like this. All right, we'll get to him momentarily, I believe. Here's just a slight delay. We've been talking about the Harris economic plan yesterday and the back and forth over that. And today we see Mayor Adams, multiple indictments. There appears to be the allegation of foreign money. He just held a news conference in which he made the point that I would. Isn't it curious? This level of corruption doesn't seem to have anything happen about it until he started speaking up and saying, enough. New York, even New York, can't handle all these immigrants that Abbott and others are bringing here coming through Biden policies. So, all right, we're going to talk with Dr. Dan McGarry here on Talk Radio 1210. Let's go to Superintendent McGarry. Superintendent, welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem, Dom. Thank you.
So a lot of things to unpack with this. First, I usually stay on top of numbers like this. I was surprised to see, Dan, that the school is 4,400 students. When I went to Newman back in the day, it was about 3,500. And when you tell people that, it seems enormous. Is it the biggest in the state?
We usually run neck and neck with places like Reading High School. Reading's a little bit bigger, but depending on enrollment, we're probably in the top 3 to 4 largest brick and mortar public high schools in the Commonwealth.
And what does that do with this problem? Does that exacerbate it due to those numbers?
I mean, look, I'm sure anytime there's a weapon on school property, it's stressful. But yes, given the size of a building like our high school and our 2 middle schools, anytime you have to enter into an emergency situation. Now, in this particular situation, we did not go into a lockdown. We went into a lock-in. But if you do go into a lockdown, only the police can release you from that type of an emergency, and that could take hours sometimes because only the police can go door to door to release you from that type of level of emergency. So the size of our school definitely does play a large part in adding to the trauma of the situation.
Okay, and the situation was, I wanted to ask, and if it's confidential, that's okay. Do you have school resource / police that are armed with a firearm?
No, it's not confidential. I've talked about this publicly over a lot of years. You can read about it in the paper. We've processed through trying to implement armed security over years. Obviously, for a lot of reasons, there's pros and cons. Over those conversations, our public and our board felt that was not a direction they wanted to go in. So we implemented a lot of other proactive and supportive measures in our district that I've processed through a lot. I'm happy to share those with you. Just like we've talked about, weapon detection systems over the last several years. It just so happened that over the course of this year, some of the attitudes toward adding other safety layers changed. And so weapon detection systems became a topic that the board and community wanted to revisit.
Have you ever had school board meetings, and have you taken a position, though? I'm a fan of the school resource officer versus this, even though I understand the problems you're having. First of all, the cost, but then the convenience of this. Is it really going to take 40 to 60 minutes to process through the system each day?
I think when we first get this up and running, it's all going to be about compliance. If we can have students ready to go with their Chromebooks out, making sure that if they have any eyeglass kit or an umbrella on a certain particular day, that they would pass that to the side, it could get down as quickly as 15 to 20 minutes. But we think in the beginning it'll be new. It could take that long. We've gone and visited locations where this has been in place. Where one particular school that's as large as ours, we visited a couple of years ago, and then we visited again recently, and it's improved dramatically how quickly kids are getting into school. But again, it's through compliance and our ability to over-communicate before these get in. We're going to create videos with kids and put out to the public, like, this is what it's going to look like when we process through the systems here in our schools. And hopefully it won't be 40 to 60 minutes, but I wanted to be honest with the public. When we implement this is what we should anticipate early on.
Well, you are being, and I appreciate that. It seems, too, more parental support, at least according to what I can get in the news, to do this maybe versus in the past. But what's driving that? What is it that's driving more parents saying they agree with this now, apparently?
Yeah, I mean, obviously time and place and what's going on in society has a lot to do with people evolving and growing and changing their opinions. I don't want to relitigate the past. Obviously, I was on the opposite end of opinions at that time. I'm happy to be where we are today. It's unfortunate that we've had to have these conversations, but I think our community is recognizing how much social media is influencing kids. The cell phones are influencing kids. A lot of the rhetoric in society and unfortunately, the division that exists in the country. I think there is that fear, and I think people have come together to recognize if we can come together as a community and see this as a proactive positive, instead of positioning this as, hey, our schools look like prisons, it's all in how we come together as a community and process through that.
But to that point, Dr. Superintendent, I don't know of any suburban schools in the Philadelphia area, do you, where they have a system like this in place? It's pretty rare, isn't it?
Yeah, there are some neighboring school districts in Delaware County that do have it in place, and some schools that are not neighboring to us. I don't want to put them out there that do have it that we visited. But there are school districts in Delaware County, and there are school districts in the Commonwealth that do have these weapon detection systems in place.
I wanted to go back to the school resource officer, though, and without getting into the details, because I don't want to put out any ideas. I'm respectful of all this. But it seems to me, my years in school, the problem is there's a lot of open doors and trying to lock that down. I'm not sure and that's why I asked you about the size of the school. I've been in schools with 50, 60 different doors, and somebody that wants to do something waits for an opportunity, knows the door is open. Uvalde was an example of that, and that's how they enter. That's why I still think a school resource officer who's armed, or several people that are armed, is the option. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've had this conversation over years with our board and our public. And right now, the more proactive preventative mental health issues that our kids are facing and solutions for those kids have been the focus of our board and community. There has not been an appetite to implement armed security. Have we had conversations? Yes. Will we continue those conversations? Of course. Personally, looking at maybe how do we have our Upper Darby police be a part of that? And one of the creative things that we've done, we have a program in our high school, thanks to the partnership with our chief of police, Tim Bernhardt, who we think is a superstar, we have a TAPS program, Teens and Police Academy, where we do have police officers in our high school teaching a course with high school students in an academy. And we do have a regular police presence in our schools and in our areas to build relationships with our kids. My hope would one day be that we can talk about how the township maybe and the school district can partner, and that maybe the budget can offset some of the township's budget. And we could talk about what would that look like having Upper Darby Police, different than our own armed security in our schools. Those conversations will continue to evolve, I think, over time. Right now, of course, could the door get propped open? I processed through this Tuesday night. We do have doors that are cambered and alarmed where, our CCTVs will alert the individual watching the camera that door has been propped open. So those things do exist. We've added layers of technology, but it's a fair point that you make. Things could happen. Nothing is perfect. And we did not position this weapon detection system as an absolute.
We're talking with the superintendent of schools in Upper Darby. Is this $1.1 million a one-time cost? What's the ongoing cost?
Yeah, so in total, over a 4-year span, we're looking at $1.163 million. That cost does not include the new middle school that we're building in Clifton Heights, where we'll have to add the same technology that's there. It's all for our current 3 secondary schools, and that's total for 4 years. In year one of that total cost, it's a little over $900,000. That's for the hardware and the software year one. In the following 3 years after year one, it really is about the software cost that ranges from under $40,000 to $7,500 for the device we're putting back by the football stadium. But the residual cost will be in the software, not the hardware.
Why have you here? Because of your expertise on this and balance on this. I'm not a fan of all these school drills. I think there were many too many. Last year I taught in high school. There was maybe one fire drill a year. Jersey, I think, is cracking down on this. And sometimes these are very graphic, as you know. I don't know how we ever got there. I think that's a mistake, particularly with younger kids. How about the number of drills each year, shooter drills and the like? What's your sense that works with kids that's effective without going overboard?
Yeah, we do not do your words, the overboard creating added trauma for our drills. We do, however, as per the law in Pennsylvania, in the first 90 days of school, complete active shooter training.
Okay.
I will say that ours are not, having like a pretend shooter in the building. We don't add that trauma in our schools. We have unbelievable police officers. Our Upper Darby police are stellar in how we handle our drills. We don't tell people in advance, of course, that they're happening, but I will tell you they've been invaluable. I mean, on September the 3rd and September the 13th, because of our training and practices, I do believe, although there was some trauma, that we didn't go into a lockdown. We were able to go into a lock-in. So classroom procedures and education was still able to take place, and we addressed the situation in a less traumatic way through our training and through our work with police. I think practice is important. I do agree with you. I don't know that to the extreme of adding trauma is the way to go, but I do think practicing these drills has been a lifesaver for us. And we have 3 layers. We have a lock-in, a lockout, and a lockdown. Once we get into a lockdown, only the police can get us out of it. The other layers can be elevated to a lockdown.
Okay.
But lock-in and lockout, we have only used those lately. We have not been in a lockdown in the past few years. And I think that is less stressful and less traumatic as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So when does this go into effect?
The weapon detection system,
yes.
Hopefully they'll be here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We had an example device for our last board meeting, so we showed and demonstrated what it would look like. For the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll have them implemented. After a month, I will give a public report on the number of searches, what we found, what it looks like, what other policies need to be revisited, and go from there and see how successful they are and see what we find.
Well, Dr. Dan, thank you very much. Please come back when you do that. We'd like to get an update at your pleasure.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
You are welcome. Dr. Dan McGarry here on Talk Radio 1210. All right, let's get your response. You heard some of the areas of concern. And again, the main thing I was centering on, my solution, it's not just a panacea, but 4,400 kids. You need to have armed people there. There's a lot of doors, a lot of ways to get in, or sadly, the shooter just comes through where this weapons detection system is. They don't care. They have a mission, and that's what they're going to do. They need to be stopped. So Upper Darby parents, apparently, according to these reports, have an appetite for this now after some of these recent incidents, but not to have armed security. 855-839-1210, that's how you get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all I need you to do is just push pound 1210. Hit us on the side question. And again, I'll take him at his word. He said there are more schools doing this. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think there were that many in the suburbs that were engaged in this. And again, in the beginning, 40 to 60 minutes to process them through the system each day. I mean, this is drudgery. When you go to the airport, you have that expectation for obvious reasons. You're not flying every day, hopefully. But kids going to school every day, that's a massive problem. But if you're willing to do this, what's the objection to having someone there who could actually stop the shooter? I don't get that. Don't get that objection when you're willing to go to this level. Cost, inconvenience, intrusion. Are these parents seeing this as a panacea, that this makes everybody feel things are safe, you're going to weed it out? Where I don't think that's the case. If you're really trying to prevent a school shooter, there are a lot of difficulties in doing that. And this is just one line of defense. 855-839-1210, you can get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, just push pound 1210.
This month, Talk Radio 1210's Veteran Spotlight salutes U.S. Army veteran Rebecca Cornell. Hi, Nick here. Join us this Wednesday morning as we shine a spotlight on this outstanding local veteran in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. Our Veteran Spotlight is Wednesday morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb. This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-585-0344. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe, or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands returns to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-585-0344. 800-585-0344. Once again, that's 800-585-0344.
When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes to storage solutions. And we get the job done fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. So trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com and let's cook up something extraordinary.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It is Dom time, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210. I get it that it's a huge story with Mayor Adams in New York. There are tentacles out there. Dan, you have one that I'm not signing off on. You think it has to do with P. Diddy, and that's why they hit him at this point, right?
Yeah, so a lot of the online conversation, Dom, Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, even Twitter trending right now is ties between Mayor Adams and none other than P. Diddy, the guy, the rapper who's been implicated in a scandal with all these parties and sexual assault allegations. And a lot of the rumors online are that Mayor Adams and P. Diddy are friends. And the reason why they're coming after Adams now is that there are allegations that he was involved in some of the stuff that Diddy was just implicated for. So there are angles out there. This seems to be one that the conspiracy theorists are rolling with, trying to tie it to everything with elitism and people taking advantage of children and such. And I don't know if there's truth to it, but I want to throw it out there as an angle.
They would charge him with that then. You know, why charge him with these other
why
things?
step around it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because if they have that, I think they would do it. Now, they have him on this. New York is just rife with huge amounts of corruption. But usually it's allowed to go on. The singular thing that he's done, he embarrassed them big time by saying, no, we cannot deal with these migrants, which the point I wanted to go back to is this. This is, and I don't care what Trump, Harris, or anybody else does, this has been, over the last 5 years, maybe longer, the single most effective political move that I've seen. And that's Governor Abbott, somewhat DeSantis, did it with Martha's Vineyard, calling the bluff of these people in New York, Chicago, even Denver. Philadelphia, for some reason, we didn't get as much. And sending people here. It's both the moral thing to do. Why should those towns just be inundated over this in Texas? And politically, look at what it's done. What it's done is it has made them come after each other. I saw the other day something in the $30 million just for a month was signed off by the Chicago City Council to pay for the migrants that are there. African-American neighborhoods erupting over this and saying, you got to be kidding me. And they're right. When are those people, though, going to say, you know what? Which side is it that inflicts this on us? And that side are progressives, Democrats, the Biden administration, Harris. Which side will protect us and push back against this? The Trump side. Now, Trump doesn't make the point as coherently as I'd like at times. It's the same thing happening in all those small towns. So was Adams nailed today, many federal charges indicted, because of P. Diddy? We'll see. We'll see if there's anything that he's hooked in there. Or is this, he's off the reservation?
So Adams was asked by a reporter, and he does directly address that. You want to hear that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Or sorry, not P. Diddy. Address whether Biden and his administration are coming after him for the immigration.
How are you? Good to see you.
The very first time you actually read the 57-page indictment, the first time you actually saw the allegations against you, and in reference to your statement last night with regard to speaking out about the migrant crisis, exactly who in the federal government, White House, did you
kind of hear it. She's asking him about the migrant and
yes.
So here's Adam's response.
Yeah.
We're talking about with regard to that, and the first time you actually read this indictment today.
I think that your second question, I think you need to ask the federal prosecutors who gave the directive and the orders. I don't know, but we should ask them who gave the directive and orders that we're going to take on and create this group of lies. They have the answer to that question. When it comes down to reading it, I peruse through it to get the top lines. The attorneys are going to dig into the crevices of it, but it is clear. Everyone that knows me knows I follow campaign rules and I follow the law.
All right, doubtful in New York, but okay. Let's go back. The media there, I guess that's a follow-up question. She's trying to get something. I would rather follow up and just let him talk. Let's just hear him talk step by step. Tell us more. Let's go back to what you said about the migrants. Did you get any pushback then, either publicly? There was some, and behind the scenes. What did that tell you about it? How do you feel about the migrant thing now? This is clear to me that this is part of it. AOC calling for him to step aside. And the bigger point, the broader point is this. If Trump can just coherently, and I know some of you don't like to hear that, that's an issue with this, pull this issue together, it's a winner. That's what Adams is telling us here. Whether or not it's true, he believes it's true, and Menendez had a similar thing. And the bottom line is, in these big cities, thank you, Governor Abbott. Thank you for teaching the lesson that progressives needed to know. They don't want it in their neighborhoods. They don't want it in the city, in New York, Chicago, Denver. They don't know what to do. But they're telling the people in Texas, you just have to put up with being overrun or something's wrong with you. Charleroi, Springfield, Ohio. Now, there are rumors still out there that Trump is going to go to Springfield, Ohio. If he does, I want him to. Let's stop with the pets thing and all. Let's just stop. Okay, you have the Biden KGP, the French woman, asked about this in the Daily Presser. Here's what she said.
Screen. Mayor Eric Adams suggests that he's being targeted by the Biden administration over his criticism of the migrant crisis. Now, this is the kind of accusation that's similar to what we've heard from former President Donald Trump. So what is the president's reaction to that kind of language being used from a Democrat?
Look, we have been always very clear. The president was clear even when he was running in 2020 that he was going to make sure that DOJ is independent, and the DOJ is handling this case independently. I'm not going to go beyond that.
And Adams was also at a reception last night with the president at the Met. Did they talk?
I can confirm to you that the president did not see the mayor, and they did not speak.
Oh, that was intentional. They knew it was coming. Okay, so again, Governor Abbott is somebody you got to think this was just brilliant. And think of the criticism. I'm not sure how much of it still goes on now because Biden administration is flying people to these places. They're avoiding all this messiness with the busing. Simple point. Why should the people in those towns, I've been there to the border, small towns, overrun by this? This is what progressivism is. And one thing that Harris talked about yesterday, if I were Trump, I'd drill down, I'd button it up. She talked about putting much more low-income housing out there in certain neighborhoods in America. Now, we've talked about this before. Upper Gwinnett, I remember, was a spot where they were trying to make this happen at the state level. People don't want that. They know exactly what that means. They moved into certain communities because there is going to be a certain vibe, a certain standard of living there, versus if they have this inflicted on them. So then why should these tank towns have to put up with this? Why should black citizens in Chicago, already under the gun, why should they have to put up with it? That's what they're saying. Well, the answer is, why keep voting for these progressives? Don't you get it? This is what they're going to do to you, and Harris will do the same thing. So do I know that Adams is definitively right? He may have been doing a number of things. Who is it that would give the order to send a message on this? Could be anybody there trying to send a message. Look, we know that most big-time politicians like this have something they'd rather not be looked at. You want to be this critical. You want to get a national forum. And on this issue, in which they were really taking heat, the border. And I have to remind everybody just one more time, this issue would be such a winner, except for these dumb Republicans. They're responsible for this. The Langford guy, the dope from Oklahoma. Oh, let's negotiate. We have this bill. I gave you yesterday Byron Donalds breaking it down, all the problems that were in that immigration bill. You pretend to negotiate with them. All they want is to say, you don't want to protect the border. After they're elected, they're going back to doing the same thing. So you pretend to negotiate. You don't really negotiate. There's no negotiation. The negotiation is this. They have to pay. They have to be punished for what they've done so that we've at least stopped them now and then we start to take it apart. Well, what about those months, Dom? Aren't you concerned? I'm concerned, but the bigger picture is winning the election, punishing them so they can't do it at least for a longer period of time. It's not worrying about that, but American lives, yes, Americans could die. But I think we're saving more if we only pretended to negotiate with them. I don't know why Republicans can't understand that. They got exactly what they wanted. The first call in this is, well, we wanted the border bill, you wouldn't do it. But Governor Abbott, this is the political move. Genius here. Look at what it's done. It got this mayor to speak out, and that may have been the trigger that got him ultimately to have the trapdoor swung here. And it sends a message to every progressive, every big city mayor, every Democrat. If you speak out too much on this, you don't want to go through this. All right, the P. Diddy stuff, there's going to be something on that. I agree. There's going to be a lot with this guy. There's a lot of tentacles. We'll see. But here are the phone lines, 855-839-1210. Trump has to button this up a bit more. It's there. All across the country, people are experiencing this. He ought to draw from what Adams said today as an example. And, you know, the other willing people here, it's not just progressives. It's people like Cardinal Dolan. Every time I see that guy living, you know, isolated from this, lecturing people in New York and telling them, aren't you ashamed? Your people came here. Why are you so against being overrun like this? That's exactly what's happening. Now, making a cogent case of it rather than just sputtering, that's what Trump has to do. Okay, 855-839-1210. We're coming to your calls next. First, let me tell you about Captain Chucky's. Things getting a little crazy this time of the year. Back to school, all those activities, football viewing, parties galore, tailgating too. Let Captain Chucky's be your meal planner. They have such great stuff. Each week we get something new from them. Get the all-new wild shrimp scampi ravioli. Chucky's teaming up with Vera Pasta, offering lobster, crab, and now wild shrimp ravioli. And remember, order that brand-new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump crab cake. A delicious, creamy 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up. Check the store for availability. Perfect time, too, to check out all of Captain Chucky's offerings. We're starting to get into colder weather. The soups, the desserts, the sides, they're all there. That Dom roll, you got to try it at least once. And, of course, the other star, that Gulf shrimp. It's a huge hit. It's always wild caught, never farm raised. So all you have to do is visit Captain Chucky's today. There's a location near you. Go to WeLoveCrabCakes.com, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. If you're headed to the shore, Captain Chucky's at the shore.com.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Gonna dig a hole in your backyard? Call 811. Don't be caught off guard, because PA1 Call's got your back to help locate those utilities stat.
Play it safe and do your part so no one in the neighborhood's house goes dark.
But if you don't, and there's an outage, you might have to deal with some screams and shouters, because ain't nothing worse when your toilet won't flush, your lights go out,
or when your pipes bust.
Yeah, your neighbors are gonna love you. Know what's below? Call 811 before you dig. Help us at 50 and 5. More at PA1Call.org. I'm here for PJ Fitzpatrick. Have you been dreaming of a new shower to replace your slippery old tub? PJ Fitzpatrick can install a low-threshold or low-entry, fully customized jacuzzi shower system in just one day. It is surprisingly affordable and comes with a lifetime guarantee. Trust me, a happy bath makes for a happy life. Better yet, trust PJ. Visit trustpj.com to set up a free design consultation and take advantage of the fall promotions. That's trustpj.com. TrustPJ.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
So much joy and laughter. From my friend who's a Giants fan, and I thought that he was going to hate it, but he laughed the whole time.
Well, the orchestra was phenomenal.
His daughter is really, really talented. His niece, all his brothers.
They're unbelievable. Go Chip Snapper!
That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to JoeConklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
They say money doesn't grow on trees, but at First Harvest Credit Union, we can help you grow your financial future with our growth savings account. You can earn as high as 3.5% annual percentage yield while enjoying flexible access to your funds. Visit firstharvestcu.com or your nearest branch to get details and open a growth savings account and watch your money grow. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for over 84 years. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you. Weather sponsored by Budget Blinds.
A warm and humid air mass is in place heading into the weekend. Today, mostly cloudy with some showers around, especially north and west, high up around 80. Tonight, some showers possible, otherwise mostly cloudy and muggy, low near 70. And for Friday, the clouds continue with a few showers possible, high 78.
Ready for fall? Budget Blinds is your one-stop shop for blinds, shades, shutters, custom drapery, and motorization. Visit budgetblinds.com for a free in-home consultation and the only no-questions-asked warranty in the business. When you schedule your consultation, ask about their special radio offer.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, your call's next with Dom at 855-839-1210. So Adams isn't going to be able to fully point the finger at anybody in the Democrat upper ranks that sent a message with this. And I think there's ample evidence of all kinds of things going on here. But I think that's exactly something that plays out in this. We've seen it with Menendez, too, for years doing very similar things, and all of a sudden he's critical. And all that comes back, all the gold bars and everything else, suddenly they come back. This is the weaponization. They're not using it just against Trump. And the only thing Trump has to do is just rifle through this stuff cogently, making some of these points about what people in the big cities and small towns are facing and tie it up together. The task force on the first assassination attempt held its hearing today. It's still ongoing. And basically, it's more of the same of what the big takeaway is the FBI stonewalling. You know, really, literally the first day, the first 30 seconds, Trump's got to fire this head of the FBI. I don't care what the consequence is when he's reelected. And also the Secret Service. And many, many at the top here. FBI stonewalling again. How many days after the shooting is this? We still don't even have a semblance of a report on it. And basically, the New York Times reporting the meeting with Trump about the Iranian assassination teams was to try to tell Trump, maybe you don't want to do these outdoor rallies. You don't want to be playing golf. It's going to be very interesting to see how well they protect when we get to Butler Part 2, when Trump goes back there. Let's see what level of protection. I have no faith in them. And remember, your life is on the line. The future of the country's on the line here. It's not an organization you can trust. There are glimmers of people in there, but up and down the line, just not good enough. All right, let's go to Amy in North Wales. Amy, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Amy, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Good.
I'm calling in because, you know, I'm a suburban professional woman out here in North Wales, and, you know, the commercials that we have going on right now for Trump, like, I think they need to be a lot better than they are.
Okay.
You know, and the reason that is, you know, if you're going to try to attract a lot of these suburban women, you know, women tend to vote with emotion. So these commercials that are coming on, they're not cutting it. They need to have more intent. You know, like, for example, you know, they need to be, you know, Dr. Phil has this clip about all these Venezuelan people coming over from, you know, from the prisons. Like, that needs to be on there. Or maybe all these parents, you know, whose children were killed, you know, in Afghanistan with the release. And, you know, they were talking about Trump and how Kamala was trying to, like, you know, bad talk Trump for being there, you know, at Arlington Cemetery with them when they asked, you know, for him to be there. Like, my whole point is that you have to have more intent with these commercials if you want to try to get.
Well, look,
these suburban
I agree.
women voters.
One of the things Trump looking to appeal to suburban women, particularly, Amy, to your point, keep you out of wars. We're not going to see this unnecessary military action. We're going to protect American lives in the military that Biden-Harris did not. Exactly on your point.
Yeah, and I think in my last point before, you know, my last point is this, like, women are voting for Kamala, and some men are voting for Kamala because it's style over substance, right? Oh, she's nicer. She's, you know, it's calm. There's no chaos. So I think that Trump, these commercials need to be like, look, you don't have to like me, because guess what? You know, I don't necessarily like everything that Trump does, but when push comes to shove and I have to make it, I take all the emotion out of it and say, what's important to my family, what's important to me, Trump's a clear winner. And that's the message that needs to come across now, and it's not. And that's why I'm hoping that these commercials have a little more intent.
By the way, stay handy. If we told the Trump people, you would be the type of person we'd put into a commercial saying, look, I didn't like it when Trump did this X, Y, and Z, but I'm thinking about my kids, my family, and me as a professional woman, and this is very clear cut. There's no doubt about it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I would do to her point. We were talking about that yesterday. What should Trump say to women? Not that protector thing he did. Not effective. All right, side question today. Scottie Pippen's birthday. Hit us with that all-time number 2, that all-time second banana, if you will. All right? And, you know, the Eric Adams thing is interesting, not because it's in New York. We're not corruption there, so what? It's his defense. And I haven't seen him say they're doing it because I'm black, which is refreshing, as much as I spoke out. And I hope he now documents even more how bad the migrant situation is in New York. It's overwhelming, even for New York. And if it's that way in New York, how in the world could it be any different in these small towns that are being overwhelmed by that? By the way, this task force today, I haven't seen an eruption. I don't know how, going through this, the Butler shooting, any normal person doesn't erupt with some of the things that are being said here in defense, or why didn't we do this or do that. It's clear that there was just complete, they're following some protocol that they can't even follow, rather than what the real threat was. The threat wasn't to Dr. Jill Biden. She didn't need that level of protection. It was to Trump. It's an obvious thing. And all they want to say, apparently, is meet with him and say, maybe you shouldn't play golf. Instead, I want a Secret Service that says, you know, Mr. President, you can play golf every day of the week if your schedule permits. We're going to be there, and nothing's going to happen. They know they can't do it. They know it's a failure. How does an organization like that end up such a failure? Look at the elements: arrogance, phony protocols, and in the end, just a disdain for Trump, it appears to be. All right, let's get a good number 2 here. Ben's got a good one in Gloucester Township. Hey, Ben, good afternoon. What do you have today?
Hi, Dom. How are you? I have the best number 2 there ever was, Vanna White.
Yes. Did you ever notice when Vanna speaks more than 10 words a show? Ro and I count it sometimes. Pat Sajak used to get nervous. That's 11 words. Yeah. Vanna White is.
Watch him every night.
Yeah,
every night.
That is a very good one. Vanna White is an excellent one. Must be paid $10,000 per word, I think. All right. Phone lines are 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. More calls coming up and a little Dan time with Dom. In addition to that, at 2:30, Eric Trump is going to be here. I'll ask him about these assassination teams and also what, rather than just dismissing Harris, she didn't know what she was talking about. There's a lot here to drill down. I gave you one. She talked a lot about housing and putting low-income housing into every neighborhood in America. You think people out in the suburbs are thinking that's exactly what I want? Or are they the people that are fine as long as these other places are being inundated with that? You tell some of these communities in Montgomery County, yeah, there's going to be a lot of low-income housing here. You think they're really welcoming that? Or are they saying, how do I vote on this? NFL Week 4 is here. You can start with a chance for a big win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place that first $5 bet. You can take a look, Cowboys at Giants. CD Lamb looks like to me he's due over receiving yards. Dak Prescott, he's due, but I'm taking the under passing yards. And Devin Singletary over rushing yards. Just a few things. There's a multitude of same-game parlays. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/Dom. That's /Dom, D-O-M, to make every moment more this season. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, first online real money wager only, $5 first deposit required, bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. Starting Monday, October 7th with Jimmy Fallon, 7 to 10 p.m.
I met Diddy. Diddy had a restaurant, and he used to walk around with a bottle of champagne in his hand, which is a little weird. You know what I'm saying? If the guy who's the proprietor is drinking straight out of the bottle, it makes you wonder if the Board of Health has some reservations.
And Walter Sterling, 10 to 1.
I hate tolls. I don't believe in them charging $1 more to go over the river. What the hell is that about? What did I get for that going from $5 to $6? These are criminal events.
Listen weeknights starting October 7th on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
Chase believes that having a place of your very own should be accessible for everyone. That's why we're offering homebuyer grants of up to $7,500 in select areas. It's just one of the many ways Chase can make your home buying dreams a reality. Visit chase.com/homebuyer or your local Chase branch. The Chase Homebuyer Grant is available on primary residence purchases only, on select products and subject to eligibility. All home lending products are subject to credit and property approval. Program terms are subject to change without notice. Home lending products provided by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, equal housing opportunity.
With NJ Diet, you can lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. They have customers that have lost 37 pounds, 100 pounds, and over 120 pounds, and they've kept it off. You'll have more energy, and you'll probably see better lab results. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to provide you personalized natural formulas and supplements so you can lose the weight, and DNA testing will help you keep it off. Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. Go to njdiet.com.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows. And save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC+. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet?
Not yet.
Do it today.
Okay.
At 1210 WPHT.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's stand time
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
with Dom.
Dom, the day is finally here. The day after the big news comes that the 76ers are moving into Center City, Dom, and I got to say it's a great move for this city. I think you're on the opposite side of that, huh?
Yeah, how many? It's not just me. It's Bob Brady had an elevator conversation with Howard Eskin, who was wild against this.
Really? Howard's against it?
Oh, yeah.
It's right down the street. You can walk to the games, you know?
It's not a done deal yet, even though I see the array of forces here. We thought it was a done deal right out of the box. It's a union thing, and it's the Sixers' money, and they're getting away with murder here. But Washington Square West, which are people of influence and money, they're also against it. And let's see, the first heart attack victim who dies because there's gridlock.
Oh, come on. That's not going to happen.
Of course it will.
You think so?
Every minute counts, and if you're gridlocked...
Watching the Sixers? You
No.
don't think someone would have a heart attack?
It's getting to the emergency room. Is one of the biggest in Center City is a block and a half inside that area where there'll be this. And I'm sure... SEPTA will be brilliant by then, and people from
it's
the
going to be
suburbs
fantastic. You know,
are going to
it's going to give them a reason to actually reopen that stop down there. Well, I guess that's Patco, isn't it?
Yeah, but what am I putting up that SEPTA is ever going to be anything other than SEPTA?
Not a very trustworthy, yeah. All right, so Sherelle Parker last night did introduce her plan, and one of the things that she focused on is she wanted to send a message out to those in Chinatown, Dom, and Sherelle, as she normally does not mince any words. Take a listen.
When have you ever heard that demolishing one building, one business in Chinatown is a part of what is being proposed as it relates to this arena? And I am committed to working with the leadership in the Chinatown community to ensure that we make good on every commitment that is included in this agreement. She also...
Okay, well, as much as I admire on this was the union thing. They were going to do it. This is
creating jobs, Dom.
This is a strange bet. Well, there's a lot of ways we could create jobs. This is strange bedfellows, though. Think about it. Philadelphia Inquirer, Dom Giordano, Howard Eskin, and Bob Brady.
This historic agreement includes a $50 million community benefits agreement that will support nearby communities, adjacent communities, and also make citywide investments in education and economic opportunity for all.
There's also 1,000 jobs predicted generated by construction and the operation of 76 Place. The mayor also gave a breakdown of over $700 million for the city and school district and enhancements to help traffic and security.
$3 million funding to support SEPTA and PATCO used for arena events. This is extremely important. We want people taking mass transit. The community benefits agreement includes $4.1 million in funding for 21 new CCTV cameras.
Gonna stop right there.
Oh, more cameras.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And remember when we had Mr. Nesto on, the head of SEPTA, he said, we have the cameras. Sometimes we don't have people watching them.
And did she say only $3 million going towards SEPTA?
SEPTA, they can blow that.
Retrofit their entire system?
Yeah, they can do that at lunchtime. They can blow $3 million. That's on that tab. What a joke. But again, the big picture is they're not following the same rules they usually. When a community says, we don't want it, there's cultural value here, they say, that's paramount. Nothing else matters. That's the rule in Philadelphia.
Just got a little bit more from Sherelle.
Okay.
Henry, did you want to comment? I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry. Throughout this whole clip, is she on like the verge of tears here?
She does seem to be pretty emotional.
Yeah.
CCTV cameras at locations around the arena.
In the end, the mayor doubled down on her support of the agreement.
You no longer have the Philadelphia 76ers as the villain here. I am Sherelle L. Parker. I am the 100th mayor of the city of Philadelphia. I am proud and take full responsibility for what is included in this agreement.
Trying to set a legacy, Dom.
All right. Yeah, because somebody said to me, oh, well, she's doing this just to get reelected. That's such a strange comment because Jim Kenney got reelected. Every mayor gets reelected. Nobody's not reelecting Sherelle Parker.
I think it was Henry that had the angle. Was that you that said it's not that she wants to create a legacy for herself, it's that she
doesn't want to be the mayor that loses the Sixers. Bob Brady said as much.
Well, that's a small force, I think. The big force, you got to understand, is the building trades union. They brought her here. They did it. They're the powerhouse, and they won it. And the black ministers won it, ignoring what they usually say about cultural things.
Just to wrap things up, Dom, on youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please go like and subscribe. Margaret writes, in my honest opinion, the worst decision. That being said, Parker should talk about last Saturday's ATV attacks also at City Hall with an angry face.
All right, well, we're working on that. I would just say, too, usually you would think somebody in Philadelphia would say, but look who's benefiting from this, a bunch of guys who are bean counters. Josh Harris is a trader. I mean, that's what he does all day long.
Wow, strong words.
No, Trader.
Oh, okay.
That's what he does.
Oh. I thought you were talking about him being the owner of the Devils and the
hedge fund. He's a hedge fund guy.
I think it's a savvy political move on Mayor Parker's part to say this is all her and not Josh Harris.
Well,
yeah.
Right, but they're the big benefactors. Then you have the guy who flies Meek Mill around. Watch for him in future development.
Michael Rubin?
Yes.
And John over on YouTube, does the mayor have an onion in her hand? Boo-hoo.
Okay. All right, coming up, Linda Kearns for a little bit of an update. There have been a lot of court cases going on, voter integrity. We're going to update you on that and where we stand as we head toward the finish line. But Eric Trump will be here at 2:30. Get in on the side question. Give us that sidekick, if you will. The second in command, Scottie Pippen's birthday today. 855-839-1210.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And, you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever, overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. And I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
On the Zelensky meeting, why is it that President Biden and Vice President Harris are holding these meetings separately? Is the suggestion that one would say something different than the other and that there might be some dueling diplomacy there?
There's no dueling diplomacy. It's not unusual. The Vice President has met with President Zelensky separately many times. Nothing new here.
Okay.
I wouldn't read too much into it.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Thank you, Sir Tom Jones. Got the side question today, that sidekick. We got Dom's Money Melody. We got Eric Trump coming up at 2:30. And Mayor Adams today, I think I just saw on Twitter, he pre-recorded after he made these comments about immigration a while ago. He pre-recorded something immediately after that, essentially saying, if they come after me, it's because of what I did today. So
it's not unusual.
He has a sense that that's all in play. All right, but the big issue, continuing issue, and I see signs that listeners are on board. Whatley was on today, Michael Whatley, making the point that this will be the biggest force on election integrity that we've ever seen.
Hey, so while you were doing the show today, Cartwright, the postmaster, went into Postmaster General DeJoy.
Yes.
DeJoy was asked about mail-in ballotings and trusting mail-in ballotings. This is what he had to say.
On that point, last question. Are American citizens going to be able to trust mail-in ballots?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know why you wouldn't. We've delivered in the heightened part of a pandemic in the most sensationalized political time of elections, and we still got with a lot of noise, for lack of a better way, at the particular time, and we delivered at 99 point whatever percent I mentioned earlier.
All right, it's Democrats though that are coming after him, I believe, not Republicans in this. They're concerned because they still think they're going to overwhelm with mail-in ballots. Not so in Pennsylvania. All right, joining us is Linda Kearns. We call her the defensive coordinator, Pennsylvania Election Integrity Council for the RNC here on Talk Radio 1210. Linda, welcome back. And on both somebody had to do it. I'm so glad that you guys are. And a personal note, this guy out of Montgomery County, the lead commissioner, not following the law because he was going to be the first with his mail-in ballot in Pennsylvania, a clear law about testing and accuracy, and you guys were right on it to file suit on that. What's happening with that?
Yep, that suit is still pending. I was actually just working on it when I had to call into your show. So, yes, I think that's important for people to know. We're on it. There was a lawsuit filed this week in Philadelphia, again, about the dating of the mail ballots, again, challenging that. I was in court yesterday on that. So we are on it, and I want your listeners to know that, Dom. That's so important for them to know.
What's your sense, too? Is it just giddiness that he wanted to be the first? We know Philadelphia, Linda, but my point is this. I have real concerns about Montgomery County due to the directors out there, and this guy's been to the White House to coach him up on all the stuff he's doing. I have real difficulties that in a giddy move, anything might happen here. And this is an example. Everybody knows you may not like it, but you have to test the ballots to make sure they're correct. So as I understand it, the lawsuit says, well, any ballots that have already gone out, we're going to do one thing with them, and future ones, something else. What are you asking for?
Right. So the lawsuit just asked, first of all, that they make sure that they test all the ballots, and that any ballots that went out that were not properly tested, that we just segregate them so that when they come back, they're not mixed in with ballots that were tested. So if there's a problem with them, they can just be hand counted. We just want to make sure any voters who voted without knowing this, that their ballots are protected. So that's what it's all about, is protecting the voters. And I can't explain why he did what he did. The only thing I can say for sure, Dom, is he loves selfies, because he posted a lot of selfies on his social media account bragging that he voted. So right now, that's the only thing I know for sure in that lawsuit.
The other thing that we've seen play out here, Linda, as we get closer to this, Dan just played it, the mail-in ballot and the post office. And that brings us to one of the things you wanted to reassure about. It's not just watching what happens with the counting of it, but it's the chain of custody and it's the tabulation part of it. We're going to have a lot of eyes on it.
Right. And is your side question today about all-time sidekicks?
Yes.
Is that your side question today? Yep. Oh, okay. Well, my all-time sidekick is Dom Giordano. He is Linda Kearns' all-time sidekick. And the reason he is because everybody in Philadelphia, everybody in southeastern Pennsylvania and probably greater Pennsylvania listens to you. So they're going to, when I talk on your show, they know, they hear it, and I can get the message out. And the message is, for mail ballots, go to swampthevote.com. That's how you can find out how to get your mail ballot, request your mail ballot. It's the easiest way to do it. It can take you right to the Secretary of State website. But you're right. For the canvassing, which is which is when they count the mail ballots, we have an operation in place that we've never had before, and we're recruiting people to observe at the canvass, and we're going to have the maximum amount of people that we're allowed in there watching the canvass, and I am preparing very detailed training for all those people. And for the volunteers need to go to protectthevote.com. They need to go and sign up. Like, I don't think Dan signed up yet. So, your sidekick is on my list.
Oh, he's indispensable
he
here.
yet.
I mean, then there'll be chain of command is weak in here. I need every hand on deck here, but I hear you. Linda, what do we do when Al Schmidt is out there, the Secretary of State, saying he's setting the battlefield here? Suddenly, well, you can't be expecting, due to the fact we can't open the envelopes until 7 a.m., that we're going to have this. And then he seems to suggest going off into days here in Pennsylvania. So I guess a question would be this. If that starts to develop, what will you be trying to do? In other words, I think it's reasonable, based upon what you and I have talked about, new machinery, more money, more teams of people put in there. We ought to have the result in Pennsylvania within 24 hours after the polls close. That would seem to be inordinately reasonable. Does that seem reasonable to experts or no?
Well, right now, I can't say because I don't know how many mail ballots there will be. What we do know for sure is as of today, there's less requested than there were at the same time in 2020.
Right.
Additionally, they've obviously been through this before, so they know what they're doing. I toured the center, the Philadelphia Center, during the special election, and I saw the operation that's in place. So I know exactly what to tell all of our observers, where they need to stand, what they need to look for. And Philadelphia does have to start at 7 a.m. on Election Day and continue for 24 hours until completed. So there shouldn't be any breaks. They should be staffed appropriately so that they just keep going. I do get concerned when Al Schmidt talks about that they can't count before Election Day, because the bills that were proposed regarding counting before Election Day, unfortunately, left a lot of the language in that is not so great that's in the current election code. For example, the current election code says that each candidate can have one observer in the room. So in Philadelphia, I think the number we can have is 12 or 13 because of all the candidates on the ballot. But if we're going to change the election code and allow us to count ahead of time, I want to change that wording in the room. I also want to know when they're going to count so that we can schedule observers if it's going to happen before Election Day. So I don't think it's just as simple and clear as Commissioner Schmidt says it is, or excuse me, Secretary Schmidt says it is when he talks about changing the law.
We had on the Luzerne County Secretary manager there, was just brilliant stuff, talking about, nope, we're not doing the drop boxes because we cannot 100% stand behind this. And Linda, she talked about they're going to have cameras set up around the counting that people can view, a stream of seeing this. If we're really about writing about this, if we're really about transparency, that would be annoying if I'm a counter to be on there all the time. I get that. But it's come down to that. If you really want to reassure people, you're going to try to do more of these things.
Right. And Philadelphia does have one camera on, at least one camera. I'm not sure if they're going to have more, but the way that I can have the observers set up and the way that the counting is happening, we went and checked, and we have good view of pretty much all of it. And now that we have, advance notice, unlike in 2020, I know where to tell my observers to stand, and I know what to tell them to look for. So I'm a lot more confident about the process. But what I do especially need is people in Philadelphia. Your very good friend, Joe DeFelice, he is working so hard. I have never seen him work harder to find poll watchers, poll workers, and observers for Philadelphia. But I want him to work even harder. I want so many of your listeners to sign up at protectthevote.com that Joe just doesn't know what to do with himself, that he has so many people he can't even get to it. And maybe we'll have to hire him, some more people to help. That's how many people
exactly
I need to sign up at protectthevote.com.
My credibility at stake and yours, but for my money, it's the A team. Linda Kearns, Joe DeFelice, Kevin Kelly is an all-timer. We've had him on too, out of retirement. Scott Presler working the other end out there. Watt Lee, we know that that's his background. This is as good as you're going to do. So no one should be depressed and say you can't win. In the end, they're just going to cheat. If they do in some way, shape, or form, I have to say we're going to catch them if there's any attempt to do this.
Right, and I don't want to hear anyone saying that if they haven't signed up at protectthevote.com to go watch in a poll or observe. You can't just sit back and say that. We have a candidate, President Trump, who is now taking bullets for us. Literally, he's putting himself out there, and people are shooting at him. The least that we can do as patriots, as voters, is to help in this election. And you sign up at protectthevote.com. You'll get a communication from our staff. You'll be invited to a training. You can go in person or on a webinar. Last night we had a really great training on the webinar. We had hundreds of people on, and Congressman Muser came on in the beginning and introduced it and gave some remarks to everybody. So we really have a system in place where we train everybody, and you get to meet other people, especially if you go in person. So it's really a great system, but we need everyone to sign up. You can't just spend from now until November 5th just talking about it or rehashing stories from 2020. You have to go and sign up at protectthevote.com. And I'm going to go back to Dan because you're only on the air for 3 hours, so he has some time. So I'm going to look for his name on protectthevote.com.
All right. Well,
real quick before Linda goes, question from Leslie in Bryn Mawr.
Yes.
I think you met her before. She asked, Linda, do you just handle Philadelphia, the burbs as well? She would love to sign up to be there for the count. Just curious if it's only Philadelphia or if anyone can do this.
This is all across Pennsylvania, protectthevote.com. I am placing people all across Pennsylvania. I'm the Election Integrity Council for all of Pennsylvania, not just Philadelphia. I mean, obviously there's counties that we focus on, but I definitely need people in southeastern Pennsylvania, Montgomery County, Delaware, Bucks, everywhere, Chester. So anywhere you live, we can place you. We need eyes everywhere. And last night on the webinar, because I often joke on the webinar, I talk about the Phillies or the Eagles, and then the people on the other side of the state say, no, it's the Steelers. So we have people all over the state who are so excited about this.
And follow-up question for you, because I want to get this in there. Leslie also asked, she just followed up, I guess she's listening to you live. She says, if she registers from the burbs, is there any way that she can poll watch inside the city?
No, you have to be a resident of the county where you are poll watching.
Another law that we ought to change on the first day should be changed. If you live in Pennsylvania, you ought to be able to poll watch wherever you want.
Right. But we have such a great need in the collar counties that I can place her somewhere where we really, really, really need her.
All right, Linda, again, protectthevote.com. Thank you. Keep us in the loop.
Thank you so much for having me on and helping me get the message out. You guys are just so great.
Thank you, Linda, very much. 855-839-1210. Let me take one more on the side question. Then we'll have Dom's Money Melody. Chris in Malvern. Chris, who's yours?
Well, he was originally number 2 in the line of succession, and everybody knows that part 2 is the best. Michael Corleone to his father, Vito.
That's a very good one. Yeah, Sonny was not a good Don. We see what happened to him. He didn't have easy passes, Richie always says either, right?
Mike, you don't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that.
Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
All right. Absolutely. But it's time. Eric Trump at 2:30. I hope that you're at a 99 percentile on realizing these people mean business. Kearns on the legal side, Joe DeFelice, Kevin Kelly in the streets of Philadelphia. And just Watley, this is why Trump chose him. It doesn't mean they're not going to try stuff, but it means this is hand-to-hand combat. And this time around, we got the players on our side. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. $500,000 to win Bob Brady, lobster bet in Philadelphia. I can taste that lobster right now. I only have lobster once in a while, but I'll make do for this. We have to get a restaurant set up for this.
You're not a lobster guy?
It's okay.
Oh, come on.
It's okay. I think it's overrated, to be honest.
It's amazing. Lobster is fantastic.
It's overrated.
Lobster or crab?
Oh, I love the crab.
Really?
Captain Chucky's. Come on.
Yeah.
The crab, yeah. Crab cake never overrated. All right, Dan, it is time for
Dom's Money Melody.
Money gone.
Great prize today. Win a pair of tickets to see Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra's The Story of Philadelphia Sports Through Music on Saturday, October 26th at the Cherokee Performing Arts Center in Marlton, New Jersey. For tickets, visit joeconklin.com.
Yeah, Don, today we're doing a cover song, and today's cover artist is someone that we lost within the past couple of years. So there's your big clue. And when we lost her, it was big news that we sadly lost her. And today, Don, we're asking her side question, who's an all-time great number 2? It can be argued that she's a number 1, but she is part of a very famous on-screen fictional couple that persisted. I mean, they recorded songs together, did everything together. But Dom, we want to know today's cover artist of a song written by someone who could also be considered a number 2 or number 3, in this case, George Harrison. So, Dom, we're looking for the cover artist of a woman who was a number 2 of a very famous duo. Maybe a number 1, it could be argued. Covering a song by George Harrison. Take a listen. We want to know who the singer is.
Why are you still crying? Your pain is now through. Please forget those teardrops. Let me take them from you.
Dom, 15 top 10 singles, 5 number 1 singles, and a 4-time Grammy Award winner. We want to know who today's cover artist is.
Shocking. I never would have guessed this. All right, get in right now. You're up to see Joe Conklin. 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210.
Please, please, from behind that locked door.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Paul Pelosi, big score that man made yesterday on the stock market.
How have they not been investigated? How is this not illegal?
And it's normal for 98% of your investments that you make in the stock market to return you millions.
The starting salaries for all these lawmakers, especially in Congress or even at the state level, they should all make what a cop makes.
Or you could be like Paul, just having a cocktail, sitting there in your underwear, trading stocks, and occasionally taking a hammer to the head.
Stop.
F these people. F these people.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-585-0344. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-585-0344. 800-585-0344. Once again, that's 800-585-0344.
New Jeeps from $269 a month at turnersbilljeep.com. Drive a new Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Compass, or Ram truck from $269 a month at turnersbilljeep.com. 2024 Compass, 4-cylinder auto, $269 a month, 7,500 miles, close-in lease, 39 months with $2,269. Due at inception. Total payments $12,491. MSRP $35,340. VIN number RT175028. Residual $19,083. Tax and tax extra. Not valid with trade-in. $599 doc fee. Ends 9/7/24.
You're driving along when you realize...
Oh, I've got to get over. Oh my gosh, sorry.
You didn't see him, did you? He was in your blind spot. You can also have a blind spot when it comes to your retirement. That's where Joe Yakovich of JML Financial Group comes in. He knows about a little blind spot called taxes. Social Security, your pension, your investments, all can be taxable. Look, you don't want to end up saying,
Will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?
Don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan. With one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
I'm John Oran, Puck's sports correspondent, and I have a new podcast called The Varsity, where I will take you inside the executive suites and owners' boxes that run the entire sports business. Twice a week, I will bring on the smartest people I know to break down the hottest topics in sports media and give you a window into the inside conversations that are happening throughout sports media. So be sure to follow and listen to the Varsity Podcast, available now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yo, Roy is Ford. What? We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
It's the Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
Okay, we're looking today for a sidekick, a number 2, arguably, covering this song. Let's hear the clue.
We start smiling. What else should we do? We're only this short time.
All right, let's try Jerry in Wilmington. He's in on Talk Radio 1210. All right, Jerry, who's covering that song?
Is that Olivia Newton-John?
It is Olivia Newton-John. All right, pretty good.
Yeah?
I have a little...
No, it's her? You can't recognize it? Henry says he knew it just from the voice of the song. I don't buy that.
No, if I hadn't known beforehand, too.
Yeah,
I think I would have gotten that.
Okay. Wow. All right, Jerry, you're the winner today.
And,
enjoy Joe Conklin.
Yeah, just to wrap things up. Sorry, Dom. Obviously, the number 2, I guess it could be argued, though. Is John Travolta the number 1, or was Olivia Newton-John?
John Travolta's number 1 at that point.
I mean, Olivia, she's won those Grammys. She has the singles and all, but...
He was one of the biggest stars imaginable.
And rest in peace to the great Olivia Newton-John. Passed away 2 years ago after the breast cancer.
Right.
Yeah, metastasized. And but great answer, Olivia Newton-John. Congratulations. Enjoy this Joe Conklin tickets.
Okay, Eric Trump in a couple of minutes. One thing that really caught my attention today, Philadelphia Inquirer's got 2 stories about our friends fighting big wind in Jersey and the Murphys. One, they talk about this blue whale that this group saw recently, and one of those, they had a bunch of people out there observing all kinds of whales, but apparently it's 300,000 pounds. It's that big, 100 feet long. The other is New Jersey is allowing a pause on an offshore wind farm that can't find turbine blades. The leading light wind project was granted a delay as it searches for a manufacturer of blades for its turbine. This would be built off Long Beach Island, would consist of 100 turbines, they say enough to power 1 million homes. Leading Light was one of the 2 projects chosen in January. So here we go again, the government saying we're going to give you a delay because you just can't complete this. And what I love about this war against big wind, the Murphys, progressives, climate fanatics is this. We're looking to do just an all-out, at every level, every lawsuit, hold this up forever. You're still winning as long as they're not doing it. And the longer it goes on, they're going to cry and go back to Denmark like Ørsted. So just another in this battle that listeners are so involved in. Kelsey Grammer so good at, and Robin Schaefer and others protect our coast, winning every day. And apparently the people that know whales, seeing that blue whale was this once in a life, 300,000 pounds. You can imagine. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. Coming up, Eric Trump. A lot to talk about with him, including Kamala Harris on the economy yesterday, and also Iranian hit teams and what the Trumps were told about it. Is it just a message to have Trump not play golf? Obama played a lot of golf also. we ought to advertise, President of the United States going to play golf whenever we want. He can come and play over on our course with Luke and me. And you know what? You're not even going to think about going near him because the consequence is going to be too extreme. 855-839-1210. Hey, how are your cholesterol levels? Managing healthy cholesterol is key to a strong heart and overall wellness. For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years and with great reason. Their range of supplements is designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, at checkout to double your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call them today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, use that code DROP. Buy one, get one free on Rescue Cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, at res-q.com.
A warm and humid air mass is in place heading into the weekend. Today, mostly cloudy with some showers around, especially north and west, high up around 80. Tonight, some showers possible, otherwise mostly cloudy and muggy, low near 70. And for Friday, the clouds continue with a few showers possible, high 78.
Weather is sponsored by United Tire. Right now, when you buy any 4 tires at United Tire, you'll receive a free oil change or a basic 4-wheel alignment. United Tire cares as much as you do about your car. Visit UnitedTire.com to find the locally owned United Tire location nearest you. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-it inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, this C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
There's a chill in the air. You flip on the heat and uh-oh.
nothing. And why does it always happen right after you've finally gotten cozy? For as little as $13 a month, Oliver will keep your home's heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems in check year-round. And guess what? Membership also comes with yearly inspections, exclusive discounts on repairs and replacements, plus priority emergency service.
Call Oliver for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon 7 to 10 p.m. starting Monday, October 7th.
Honestly, I do mean this. What an incredible honor to join this lineup because, like, the thing you guys do that matters to me, you guys know your listeners. You hang out with them, you meet them, you do events. Like, that to me is amazing. That's why I got into radio. Is like, you want to be a part of the community. Like, I'm always on tour doing live events. I want to be part of the community, which is a fancy way of me saying I got to get out of New York a lot because I owe a lot of people money. But the point is,
Jimmy Fallon, weeknights 7 to 10 p.m. starting October 7th on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Cars that pass.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris? Liar. What's the...
Your children well.
All right. I don't know where that's from.
Waiting today.
Okay, waiting on Eric Trump should join us momentarily here on the Dom Giordano Show. One of the things to catch up with is this meeting with the Trump people. I think Trump, from what I can tell, Secret Service and others, warning about Iranian assassination gangs. Here's what Jesse Waters said about the assassin who was stopped at the golf course, or at least ran away, and where the motivation is coming from. And I'll tell you about this guy, Tom Nichols, who's been on the station before, was all over national media today blaming Trump, saying we're supposed to shut up about Trump. He's the one with the vicious rhetoric. Here's what Waters said.
Even though Ryan Ruth basically wrote a Biden speech in his manifesto, they don't think Joe inspired anybody. And how dare you say that?
These are his past statements and ideas. He's blamed now, but now he's blaming rhetoric from you that you inspired these two assassination attempts.
Well, I think he is the most unusual president. No. And you look at what he does and what he says, and look what he did.
Yes,
look what he did.
on January 6th.
And not on just January 6th was absolutely bizarre.
You can see Joe playing it cool there. Trump is unusual. That's code for I hate the guy, but my language almost got him killed, so they say I got to tone it down. But he couldn't hide it for long. To Joe, Trump's just a bug he'd like to squash, literally.
Then he just wouldn't go. He was like a bug. He just kept being there. He was like a bug right there. So you felt...
All right, so the difference here, all right, and some people are better at articulating this. The difference is this. What Trump says, and you want to point to, then people make death threats. You know my feeling on that. We got to track these death threat people down, drag them out, put them in jail to stop this stuff. The difference is, though, it's not just political, saying if Harris is president, how bad the economy will be. It's saying if Trump is president, democracy ends, and Trump is Hitler. And this is a rendition of Hitler. How many different hundreds of times that we've heard? That's what we're talking about. Now, some of them are too dumb to understand the distinction. Others don't want to understand it. So I would say, since this was brought up around the time of the second assassination, amplifying the point, this guy obviously was on a mission. He offered $150,000 to anybody else who fulfills it, making the point You can go after Trump. You can attack him on the policies. You can attack his character. You can say you don't like him as a person. Any of those things in really hard-hitting terms. That's all fair because that's what they do. That's what both sides can do. But the bottom line is this. When you go Hitler, when you go the end of the world, the end of democracy, you're leading people, particularly the Hitler comment, to figure if I could go back in time, I would have taken out Hitler before he got to be Hitler. So I'm going to do this. That's the difference. Some of them are smart enough to get it. Others just are going to continue to do it. Bottom line, they haven't stopped a bit. They're still going down that path. All right, I'm coming to your calls next, and we should be hearing from Eric Trump any moment here.
We just asked if he could reschedule. I guess something must have come up.
All right. We'll get him on tomorrow. Tell him tomorrow. It's got to be tomorrow.
That's what I'm doing right now.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So 855-839-1210. You get on board. Looking for the sidekick today, but this guy Tom Nichols. He's been on the station before. I wouldn't invite him. He's all over the place today. I saw several cuts of him trying to make the case it's Trump that is bringing this on everybody else. Have we seen the level of death threats and actuality? Thank God not with Kamala Harris. No. And again, anybody that makes a death threat is not an idle thing to me. This is top priority to go after them. The difference is, as a routine basis, making this Hitler end of democracy. You are triggering enough people out there that are going to go. By the way, the guy, his name is Rhodes, who was the architect in the Obama years of the Iranian deal. Apparently, that triggered this guy, the Iranian deal, and the rhetoric around what Trump did there. But the Hitler reference is, as casual conversation, they call upon people to stop Hitler. All right, let's go to Drew in Upper Darby. And Drew, you're in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Drew, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, thanks a lot for taking my call. Hey, Dom, you know, if you're correct with your pattern, I won't be surprised if John Fetterman is next in their crusade. Whoever goes against them, you know.
You know what? If we start to see, anything on Fetterman, because he's got two things: one, the Democrat establishment, but also the mob of Democrats because of what he said about Gaza and Israel. You're right.
Yes, and he's also for the wall. But
that's right. Yeah, he's a wild card. I got to say that for him. And he was honored by the ZOA. I got to hold up this giant shield they gave him at our event with Rich Cioli last week. Yeah.
That's right. Well, hey, Dom, on the side question, way back when Ty Cobb played, we all know how much of a creep he was, but he was the best player of his era, no doubt. But at the same time he played, there was another player who was just as good, maybe better in certain categories. Tris Speaker.
Yes.
No one ever even heard of this guy,
right.
But he was phenomenal. He was good as Cobb, but no one ever even heard of him. So, thanks, Tom.
All right, thank you. That's a little bit of an obscure reference.
He didn't say the best part.
Yes.
Tris Speaker is the all-time triples leader.
Oh, well, there you go, right there.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a that's an interesting category. You need to have power and also speed and run the bases well. So that's a pretty big character. Yeah. All right, so that's the side question. It was a little bit of an obscure reference to this assassination thing, Dan. This will be cut 14. I'm going to stop it at some point because Trump rambles. Here's what Trump said would help with these Iranian assassination teams. What President Biden ought to do. Cut 14.
If I were president and a former president and a leading candidate, I'm the leading candidate by far to be the next president.
What happened here?
Sorry about that. I just had some difficulty. There we go.
A leading candidate. I'm the leading candidate by far to be the next president. And that leading candidate was under threat. If I was president and the candidate was under threat, any candidate, Republican or Democrat, and by the way, I want to thank the Democrats because they just increased funding for the Secret Service, who work very hard. They increased funding for the Secret Service, and nobody will believe this. It was a unanimous vote. Republicans, every single Republican, every single Democrat present voted in favor. That was the first unanimous vote we've seen in a long time, and that's to increase the funding of the Secret Service. So I thank everybody in Congress. But if I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that. And there would be no more threats.
That's the point. That's the point right there. That's what a president of the United States ought to send the message. The Secret Service is telling Trump this, so it's reliable intelligence. They ought to do something here. They ought to do something as a preemptive shot and say, look, you're going to be taken out. Just the threat of it, just that you have people in the country trying to that's enough. We're going to take one of you out. That's what a president ought to do. American people would stand behind that, except for those that just hate the country and hate Trump. And I'm pretty confident that's what Trump would do. That's what presidents do. That's what Americans do. They don't cower like the Secret Service telling Trump, well, maybe you shouldn't play golf. How was President Obama able to play golf? And I'm not saying they're just biased toward Trump. They're just incompetent now. All right, the lightning round is next. We're rescheduling with Eric Trump. We'll have that for you in due course. 855-839-1210.
This school year, get your child or grandchild the help they need to succeed. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and help your child have an outstanding year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Chase wants everyone to be able to have a place of their own. That's why we offer mortgages that help you purchase your new home with down payments as low as 3%. To find out more about our low down payment options and other ways Chase can make your home buying dreams a reality, visit chase.com/homebuyer or your local Chase branch. Loan amount, loan value, and loan product type limits apply. Geographic restrictions may apply for jumbo loans. Products are subject to credit and property approval. Program terms are subject to change without notice. Other limitations and restrictions apply. Home lending products provided by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hutchinson Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing brings the plumbing expertise you need for fast home solutions. Whether you've got leaky pipes, a clogged drain, or a water heater disaster, Hutchinson has your back. And right now, get $50 off any plumbing repair. Expert technicians, same-day service, and a job done right the first time. Need an expert plumber today? Visit HutchComfort.com, and Hutchinson's help is on the way.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, we only connect our customers with the best. We reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us, so we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
All right, it is the lightning round, and of course, Dom's lightning round, sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Enjoy back-to-school savings on a 36-month lease of a 2024 front-wheel drive S60 for only $389 per month. Down payment, registration fee, taxes due at inception. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships really matter. Great stuff. What show in America tomorrow? 12:15, and we've been after her for a while. Elise Stefanik will have a lot to say about Vice President Harris. Dan on that one. And Henry is bringing on Mr. Tommy John. And he tells me, he may tell him, you don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Let's be diplomatic about that.
Do you have the chutzpah to do that, Henry?
Yes, we'll see.
I don't know.
Tommy John coming on, not because somebody's getting Tommy John surgery, but because he was on a Yankees channel yesterday and he said, I have been very out there that I voted for Trump, and the veterans people don't seem to like that, he suspects. 288 wins. I know he pitched 26 years and all. And then Tommy John, name for that. If that's not a Hall of Fame, well, then we're going to go through the roster. The Scooter, Phil Rizzuto, how's he in there?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, there's umpteen numbers. There's just favoritism with this, and I'm voting for Trump, I guess, doesn't help. One quick thing. Just saw on Twitter that Mayor Adams cut funding 7 months ago for migrants, illegal immigrants in New York. It wasn't just that he said, what the hell's going on here? We can't handle this. So not that he may not be guilty of these things, but when has that mattered with progressives or Democrats? Really, when does it matter? Menendez. It matters when they speak out publicly on something that really counts. And then all this stuff gets put into play. Who did Drew say today? We'll see this with...
Tris Speaker.
No, not Tris Speaker. No, he said it's going to happen with some other prominent Democrat in the future. I got to go back and think about that one. All right, lightning round. Joe of Exton, of course. Hey, Joe, good afternoon.
Yes, hello, Dom, and good afternoon. My coupling is between Saudi Arabia and Iran. In the realm of Islamic theology, Islam in Saudi Arabia is considered mainstream, while Islamic Shiite Islam is considered heretical and is despised by Saudi Arabia.
So Iran is Sunni then, right?
No. Saudi Arabia is Sunni.
Oh, okay.
Consequently, to bolster her self-esteem and to maintain a monopoly of attention on the world stage, Iran engages in treachery throughout the world.
That's very well put, Joe, and I think the dispute is over. Mohammed's son taking over the religion versus the second in command. And all this antagonism, Sunni Shiite, kind of stems from that.
90 to 95% are Shiites in Iran, while 5 to 10% are Sunni.
Yep. So if you can't settle that, what chance do Westerners have, other religions, against this? Chris in Burlington, Talk Radio 1210. Who's yours, Chris?
Hey, I have a born number 2, who I believe is literally the epitome of a perpetual number 2, and Prince Harry.
Oh, yeah, we can't
answer.
do. Who's worse in your estimation? I would say you're going to say Prince Harry. Markle is so bad, even though I get your point about Harry, I just can't take it. I get your point, though. It's the guy, and the guy's got to step up a little bit there. He can't possibly do that, though.
Well, you're right. Not unless there's death, I guess.
Yeah, with Prince Harry, there's just no redemption there. There's not.
I feel kind of bad, right? You know, your brother gets all the attention and all the royals, and you just
Well, you
watch
understand why. I mean, I'm on the Royals side with this. It's an obvious. It's Oprah and Marco on the other side. Robert in Ben Salem on Talk Radio 1210. It's a pretty good one. We forgot about this one. Who's yours, Robert?
Hey, Dom, Dan, Henry, et al. Good to talk to you guys. One more difference. Most Shia are traditionally Persian, and most Sunni were traditionally Arabic. That's another big difference.
Okay.
So that's why Iran was. Anyway, it seems like every mad scientist, including Dr. Frankenstein, had an assistant named Igor. Or maybe that's Frankenstein if you're going by young Frankenstein. But at any rate, I'm going to say Igor as a famous second, and my favorite Igor of all time was Marty Feldman from the same movie, Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have a great day.
The eyes. How does his eyes? Are those his eyes?
He is Igor.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the epitome of an Igor, without a doubt. Bill in Montco on Talk Radio 1210. Bill, who do you have?
Hey, Dom and Dan. Yeah, this is literally a second in command, Mr. Spock to Captain Kirk. And Mr. Spock has had to put up with Captain Kirk, so I think that gets him more than honorable mention.
Yeah, well, in life, too, Nimoy, big name, but William Shatner. I would tell you this, Bill, as a talk host, Shatner's in my top 3 guests of all time. He's that good. He's unbelievable.
Okay.
Yeah, good one. Very good one. Bill in Bucks County now. 2 Bills. Bill, who's yours?
Mine is Donald Duck, second to Mickey Mouse.
Absolutely. And what's the voter registration update in Bucks County? What's happened, Bill?
Oh, yeah. As of September 10th, 2024, Republican 200,429, Democrat 198,928. Republicans lead by 1,501.
Wow. It's gaining. They're not making a comeback there. That's a good sign.
However, we got to remember that is before the Swiftie announcement.
Oh, yeah, we're waiting to see. We forgot about that.
We got to see what that's going to do.
Is that churning stuff? We have to monitor that announcement every day. Henry, if you're not busy with the Tris Speaker, get on that, the Swiftie. What kind of impact did it have? One more, Dwayne in Valley Forge. This might be a good one. Dwayne, what's yours?
Yeah, I'm waiting on Miley Cyrus's endorsement myself. My sidekick birth on January 6th was the most historically significant event ever happened on January 6th. He overcame devastating childhood illness, and this colonel on horseback became President McKinley's sidekick. And after McKinley was assassinated, he became our youngest president at 42. He was a governor, an author, a historian. He built the greatest navy in the world in the Panama Canal, the trust buster, the conservationist. He annexed Hawaii, the Philippines. He walked softly and carried a big stick. And in pure Trumpian style, he took an assassin's bullet and remained in complete control of the situation. I'm talking about America's old lion, Teddy Roosevelt.
Gotcha. I didn't know if that was ever going to end, but there's a lot with Teddy Roosevelt. All right, Henry, give me a suggestion here. Who do you like?
I mean, I think you already know where I'm going with this.
Tris Speaker.
Speaker, all-time leader in triples. I have to move back on this.
I'll throw you 2 others, Dom. Joe next in with Iran with a political kind of answer there. But Chris in Burlington with Prince Harry in the Royals. I really like that.
I like
birth
that.
one.
I like Prince Harry. No offense to Tris Speaker. I got to go and look that up more. All right, Rich C. always next. We're back tomorrow with big guests and a lot of action on Talk Radio 1210.